Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're cracking the code on three of the most charismatic and, let's be honest, commonly confused marine mammals out there: seals, sea lions, and walruses. Yeah, they all have flippers and love the ocean, but as you're about to see, they are worlds apart.
At a glance, they might all look like a bunch of flippered friends, right? Big, blubbery, sea-loving mammals. But each one has its own unique toolkit and a completely different way of life. By the end of this, I promise, you'll be able to spot the differences like a pro.
So first, let's get the family name down that unites all three. Pinniped. It's Latin for fin-footed or flipper-footed, which is, the perfect name for these animals. They actually evolved from land dwellers millions of years ago to become these amazing masters of both land and sea.
All right, here's our roadmap for solving this marine mystery. We're going to start with the easiest one to identify. Then we'll dive headfirst into that classic seal versus sea lion debate. After that, we'll explore their incredible abilities, and we'll finish up with why all of this really matters.
Okay, let's dive right in with a quick win: identifying the walrus. Seriously, if you see one of these, you'll know it instantly. There is absolutely no confusing it with the others.
The walrus makes it pretty easy for us with a few unmistakable features. The most obvious? Those massive tusks. They're actually super long canine teeth, and you'll find them on both males and females. They've also got that wrinkly, pinkish-brown skin and this fantastic mustache of really sensitive whiskers, called vibrissae, which they use to feel for clams on the dark seafloor.
And when we say they're big, they are huge. A large male can weigh as much as a small car. That makes them the third largest pinniped on the entire planet, right behind the two types of elephant seals.
All right, now for the main event. This is the one that trips almost everyone up, telling the difference between seals and sea lions. But here's the thing. They belong to completely different families, and once you know what to look for, it's actually way easier than you think.
This slide here breaks it all down. 4 simple ways to tell them apart. First, check out the ears. Sea lions have those little, visible ear flaps. Seals, they just have ear holes, no flaps. Second, just listen. Sea lions are the noisy ones, with those loud, distinct barks. Seals are much quieter, usually just making soft grunts. Third, look at their front flippers. Sea lions are big and skin-covered, while seals are short, furry, and you can see their claws. And finally, think about their social life. Sea lions are the life of the party, always in big herds. Seals tend to be more solitary.
Now let's build on that, because one of the absolute biggest clues is just watching how they move, both on the beach and out in the waves.
On land, the difference is, well, it's dramatic. A seal's hind flippers can't rotate forward, so they have to shimmy on their bellies, kind of like a big furry caterpillar. But a sea lion? Totally different story. It can rotate its rear flippers forward and under its body, which lets it actually walk on all fours. It's why you almost always see sea lions, not seals, in aquarium shows.
But as soon as they hit the water, their roles totally reverse. Seals are incredibly efficient swimmers. They use their powerful rear flippers, moving them back and forth to push through the water, almost like a fish's tail. Sea lions, on the other hand, use their big front flippers for power, pulling themselves through the water with these strong, sweeping motions.
So you have to realize all these external differences, how they look, how they move, they aren't just random. They're all clues to the incredible internal engineering that makes these animals such successful hunters of the deep.
Just take the southern elephant seal. These behemoths can dive to depths that would literally crush a submarine, over 2,300 meters, and they can hold their breath for up to 2 hours. How is that even possible?
Well, they pull this off with a kind of superpower called the dive reflex. Check out this chart. When they're just resting on the surface, their heart rate is around 100 beats per minute, but during a deep dive, it can drop to as low as 5 beats per minute. That drastically cuts down how much oxygen they use, letting them stay underwater for just an incredible amount of time.
And that's not even all of it. Their blood is so rich, it can carry 3 times more oxygen than ours can. They store extra oxygen right in their muscles using a special protein called myoglobin. And get this, to avoid getting the bends from nitrogen bubbles in their blood, they actually exhale before they dive. It's this whole suite of adaptations that makes them perfectly built to hunt in such an extreme environment.
So, now that we can tell them apart and really appreciate their incredible biology, it's really important to understand the threats they all face in our modern world. History gives us a pretty stark warning here. The Caribbean monk seal, which early explorers called sea wolves, was hunted to extinction for its blubber.
The last confirmed sighting was all the way back in 1952. That shows you exactly what's at stake. Today, their relatives, the Hawaiian and Mediterranean monk seals, are critically endangered. And really, all pinnipeds face some serious challenges. Climate change is melting the sea ice that walruses and some seals absolutely need to rest and raise their young. Getting tangled in fishing gear and human disturbance on their beaches are constant dangers.
So you see, knowing the difference between a seal and a sea lion is way more than just trivia. It's about seeing them not as one group of sea dogs, but as distinct families with their own unique, incredible evolutionary stories. And when you can appreciate that uniqueness, that's when you start to understand exactly what we all stand to lose. So the real question isn't just what they are, but what we can do to make sure they have a future.